Through some cosmic force that Atticus knew nothing of, he'd been dropped inside of a lusterless world with only various spectrums of gray. The sign in front of the building read, "Reaps." The doors slid open. A person dressed in a long, unwavering robe clouded in smoky hues exited the building. The figure came closer. His skin attempted a defiance of the gray world through a ghastly slate blue complexion. Atticus rushed forward. Rorn held up a red alderwood staff that had also retained its color. "All is going according to the correct path, but you are in grave danger now. We must hurry." A metallic grinding sound penetrated the stillness. From midair, white rifts tore open. Arachnid creatures dropped to the ground with muffled clangs. Slender, arched legs barely kept their bulbous bodies from scraping the ground. "Time Reavers!" Rorn sprinted, waving Atticus along. "They must not get you, or else they will trap you within a timeless cycle." He raised his staff in the opposite direction of the general store. "We must make haste to the temporal gate." "Screaming Lotus!" Atticus raced after Rorn, who appeared to glide over the ground. "You committed the unpardonable sin. Why?" "No time to explain." Behind, Atticus heard the clanking sounds that could have been mistaken for rusted gears, but it was the screeching of the bizarre spider urchins. As fast as Atticus ran, and he could run fast, the world only crept by, like grains of sand sifting down an hourglass, grain by grain. They paused at a traffic light blinking black and white. The wind swayed a stop sign as effortlessly as it would flutter leaves of an aged spruce. The air was dense on this plain. Atticus grimaced, heaving for breath. He wanted to drill Rorn for answers to so many questions. Well, actually one question. Why? But instinct told Atticus that Rorn had not jumped from that ledge to dodge his duty to the Order. He was not a traitor or a coward. He had reason. Something deep and innate screamed this logic to Atticus. "What do you mean by everything is going according to the plan?" "The multiverse consists of our own world, time, and galaxy, and the worlds, times, and galaxies of every other possible timeline. I have seen a dozen worlds since my transition. A world where Germany controls all facets of global life. A world where electricity was never invented and the church ruled a dark age America with an iron fist, well into the 21st century. What does Germany and the church have to do with me or the beast? Everything and nothing. We must maintain the correct timeline for certain events to be triggered. If things do not happen in certain accordance, the future of our universe could devolve into a dystopia of interstellar proportion, worse than anything ever written about by Herbert or Asimov." "Who?" "Never mind. Just know that the Dark Trinity has a plan to save our universe, which will save his universe as well. He has contacted me from a distant world from a distant future within the same space-time plane that we preside in. If we fail in our mission to keep the timeline proper, then his fate is as terrible as ours will be." A small army of spindly mechanical reavers appeared around them. They disappeared only to reappear seconds later, but this time, much closer. A spider lunged on Atticus's thigh. Fangs pierced, lodging painfully deep into his flesh, and dragging him through thin air. Gray got grayer. As if he weighed no more than a slice of parchment paper, he felt himself falling, floating, until his feet touched solid ground once more. He stood on the terrace of a ziggurat surmounted by a chalk-white limestone temple. Though wisps of smoke trailed from bronze censers spread about the terrace, Atticus detected no fragrance. Buildings composed of sandalwood and dark grainy basalt sprawled around the mighty pyramidal structure. And all those buildings were aflame, crumbling and collapsing. Men, some in loincloths, some naked, some still donning headgear of nobility and military, hurried about in an erratic manner while others embraced, kissed, and caressed each other. They ignored the city falling down around them. The only thing they seemed to care for was each other's flesh. Crude short swords and curved blades laid scattered on the unpaved streets, along with shields and various pieces of leather armor. Near one ruined, roughly worked wall of cyclopean stones, Atticus spotted a man on his knees before another man. Atticus tore his sights from the abomination, only to spot another man inserting his entire forearm inside a young girl squatted in front of him, her bare back splashed with blood. On enormous wings ascended a black winged cat that would have surely sent a fearless worm flying away with its tail between its legs. The cat's sudden shrieking brought the buttress of another building to join the heaps of burning rubble sprawled into the streets below. Bellows of undulating smoke and dust swelled upward to meet the blanched heavens above. Head first, it soared toward the smoke-screened sun, embodying both breathtaking regalness and hellish horror. A geminous beast, screaming lotus! From an ebony-rimmed archway of the temple appeared a second winged cat geminus. The sheer massive size and powerful physique caused Atticus's heartbeat to still. The unearthly creature's golden yellow eyes penetrated Atticus, impelling him to put distance between him and the beast. The terrace shook when the geminus galloped, heading straight for Atticus with lips snarling and fangs bared. Atticus ran, skipping down the steps two at a time. The other beast's maw snapped at his back. Atticus swung himself over the tarnished ledge of the sprawling staircase. The men in the streets ignored him and continued their heinous acts of depravity. Atticus sped along the cobblestone road through a burning marketplace. Charred timber and molten pools obscured the path out of the city. Together, the two geminous beasts dashed into the air and perched atop the temple at the ziggurat's summit. Women in the streets ceased their defilements of one another and all stared blankly up at the temple. At the two magnanimous, deadly, but regal beasts. With zombified dullness in their yellowed eyes, the crowd shifted their attention toward Atticus. Atticus snatched his longsword and placed his back against a charred sandalwood column. He fled, jumping over a heap of burning debris, and dashed out the bronze gates. He headed straight for the bleary mountainscape shadowing the colorless horizon. He climbed the rocky path and perched the top in what seemed like seconds. A tall bearded man in an undyed lambskin tunic gave him a nod. "Who are you?" "Lot." He pointed toward the city behind them. The Geminus soared into the gray skyline. Its wings spread, silver sunlight casting gleams off black fur. Evil. Pure, biblical evil. And the whole city lit up, turning into a column of white vapor. A black and gray mushroom cloud appeared soon after. The winged cat caught in the grasp of the fatal cloud became ash, raining down into the flaming furnace that had been Sodom. The wind carried the faint sound of familiar voices, like something out of a dream.
"He's not ready. You must all be prepared for the reckoning. What if it shall come to be and you are not prepared? He will not face the beast alone."
Atticus felt himself being tugged. He staggered, a sword in hand. "We must hurry to the woods." Rorn flung a reaver away with the flip of his staff. Atticus slashed at one and kicked another. They scurried away, popping in and out of time. A sharp pain bit into his calf, where a spider must have pierced him. Absently, he rubbed the aching skin. "I saw Sodom. I saw the Geminus defeated. The Reaver has shown you the past? Amazing. What did you witness?" "There were horrible things going on in the streets. Men with other men. And there was a winged cat creature, the beast of Sodom and Gomorrah. The fall and destruction of the ancient cities of sin. The birth of the first paladins and the last time Geminus mated on our world. If we do not stop the beasts, then all of Texas and the rest of the world could fall into the same immoral chaos that befell Sodom and Gomorrah." Side by side, they raced down the streets, each block taking eternity. Why must we move so slow in this world? It is a space-time warp, and if you do not return to current-day Buckeye in due time, then the proper timeline will be askewed, and all hope for the future of any world will be lost.